Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today was Flash Day, and the title, I guess the name of today's episode is called Family Matters. And I think this was episode what, 10, Beth? 10. This was episode 10, and like I told you guys last week that we're only getting, I think, one more episode, and then that's it. And then I guess in episode 11, this story is going to conclude with all the forces, and I'm not sure where the forces are going to go. By the end of all this, I don't know if Alexa will be officially a part of Team Flash, or maybe they all will. I don't know really what's going to happen, because as we know, Cisco is leaving. We get a little bit more into why, in a way, it's like Cisco's sort of afraid to leave, because we end up seeing that throughout the episode. He's sort of afraid to leave because I guess what he saw when Psych whammied him is, I guess, him being at Star Labs his entire life and everybody else has moved on. And that was his greatest fear. And it kind of like was a callback to when when Barry went back in time or went into the future, and I guess we saw Cisco in Star Labs by himself, and remember, like, his hands were ruined by Killer Frost because they got into that fight, and like he was the only one left a part of Team Flash because Barry was he was upset due to the death of Iris with Savitar. That was like in season 3 with Savitar, and that's where we got to see Cisco like alone. So it was kind of like sort of like an homage to that. So I understand, so that's why he's afraid to like go somewhere else and move on with Camilla, is to have a life with her, is because he doesn't know what else to do in his life, because all he thinks is his life is Star Labs, and he doesn't want his life just to be Star Labs. So I don't know where his character arc is going to go, because as we know, the guy that plays Cisco is leaving the show after this year, so I have no clue what's going to happen. Also, the guy that plays Harrison Wells is no longer going to be in the show anymore either. So I have no clue if we're ever going to see them come back later in the series at some point, but I'm just wondering that, like, since Cisco's leaving and Camilla's leaving, there's room to add on to Team Flash, which I'm going to be honest, I don't really want, but we'll probably end up seeing that happen anyways. But throughout this episode, we get to see Alexa trying to, like use her powers and be able to control Ferwerza, and we get to see a little bit more of her trying to control it, but she's afraid to try to like connect with that side of herself because she doesn't know if she's going to be able to control Ferwerza, and pretty much Barry is rushing it. I don't know what was wrong with Barry in this episode, but he thought it was okay to like really try to force her to try to bring out Ferwerza when she was afraid of like not being able to control that side of herself. She was just afraid, saying I could hurt someone, I could do whatever, I don't want to hurt anybody. But Barry just kept trying to rush to it, trying to say like, because in Barry's eyes, he just wants to train her so she could feel protected and defend herself when Nora and tries to come and kill her. So he's just trying to train her and trying to like prepare her to fight, to protect herself. But in a way, he's thinking too much of that side. And we get a little bit more of Caitlin. She talked to Barry because we see throughout the episode Caitlin's not okay with that. Caitlin's not okay with just Barry trying to force her to bring that side of her out without being able to control that side of herself. When she's ready, he's ready for her to do that, but she's not ready yet. So Caitlin's talking to him, saying, you're so focused on that, but when Thawne was training you, to be the best, he wasn't rushing you, he was training you slow, it took time. Yeah, he was doing it in his own way of doing things, but even though he was bad, but he still took his time with you and trained you. And that was good that Caitlin said that, because you can't rush somebody when they're not willing to, when they're not ready to do something like that. They need to be ready to be able to control something like that, to take the next step. Just because you are doesn't mean that, the person is. And I feel like that is very true, because Thawne was ready, but Barry was also ready to take the next step, but it took time. So I just love how, Caitlin said that, because, it's true, though. Barry needed to stop forcing, Alexa to pretty much turn into Ferwerza, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And of course, we see more of Psych, and we find out more of his backstory. And I guess his actual name is what, Beth? I forget his actual name. It's like
Bashir.
Bashir. And we saw a little bit more about him and who he actually is. And I guess, he had friends and he was a part of a secret society. and they were all rich, and I guess his parents were rich, but they got into I guess they were in huge debt and stuff, so I guess they fled the country, and they left him there, letting him pick up all the pieces that, because they did, like, fraud and everything, but they made him pick up all the pieces, and they left him behind, and his friends pretty much, or I guess friend abandoned him, but I guess all of his other friends weren't abandoning him. They were trying to do, give him money to get out of debt that his family, caused, and, all the tax, problems that his family caused. They were trying to get him out of that, but he pretty much, by one friend turning their back on him, he assumed that all the other friends were turning their back on him, and he just did it to them before they could just, try to help him. So we get to see a little bit more about that, and I guess while his friends were, or he thought his friends were turning their back on him, he, I guess, foster parents, but I guess they turned their back on him as well. And pretty much we get to see how more of who his character is that he always is left behind. He feels left behind. He feels like he doesn't have he feels like families don't really exist on the way he, expects a family to be. And we get to see more of that with the whole, we hear a lot, the whole family dynamic throughout the episode of, we hear, Cisco make the joke as we saw of last week to this week's episode of, oh, that's cute. They're like your parents. We hear a lot of that throughout the episode. I'm sorry. We hear a lot of mom, dad, young baby sister, this and that. I'm sorry. It just reminds me, it's kind of cringy in a way. It reminds me too much of Steppenwolf, the mother aspect. And we all cringed, let's be real, when every time Steppenwolf said mother, I thought it was the weirdest shit in the entire planet. I was like, this just ruins this. So it's just too, that's too, engraved in my brain, that Steppenwolf crap and him saying mother. So it's too cringy. It's too, you think Jeff Johns would be like, okay, let's not do that because the fans didn't like when Steppenwolf said mother and did all that stuff. But he just really didn't give a crap, and he just said, put that in there. Let's have them call them mom and dad and baby sister and all that, and there was a scene at the end of all this because we, I expected, he's, Psyche's doing all this bad shit, but of course, we're going to try to save him. And, of course, he ends up teaming up with Team Flash by the end of this and Alexa ends up being able to control her powers right when, at the moment where, it's the finale and, Psyche's about to get the last guy and, Alexa's like, oh, I can do this and is able to do it. I wish we spent more time seeing her with the challenges of trying to control that side of Fuerza. I wish we got to see that a little bit more. It was kind of she kind of just there were seconds where she couldn't do it in the beginning, and then right when she needed to, she was able to do it on and off. I don't think that's good character, development for that character. I just wish we had more time to see her be able to control that side of controlling Fuerza. I just felt like that was really forced and really quick that they, jumped on that. So I hope they do fix that. Probably they won't. I think they're just really trying to wrap up this, storyline so we can get to Nora and Bart Allen, all of them, when they come in as kids. I think we're trying to get into that storyline and also Godspeed. I just feel like they're really rushing. They really rushed, I forget. Who was the mirror girl? I always forget her name. She was the villain of last season. I always forget her name. But they kind of rushed that. I mean, it wasn't a good villain, but still, they rushed this, and I was really excited with the Nora storyline of her being the villain almost. I was really excited. And things just kind of changed with, the whole, them making kids or these godlike beings that I guess that they kind of made and they're their kids now. It's kind of cringy to me. I don't know I don't know how I feel about that. And
Eva McCall.
Yeah, Ava. Yes, Ava, yes. So, I was about to say, so, also by the end of this, we end up seeing Nora teaming up with, the Time Force, and I was like, and right there, I was like, okay, or was it the Still Force? Right? Still Force, not Time Force, yes. So we saw her teaming up with the Still Force, but in a way, he can't really, I guess she made a deal, oh, I won't kill you, but you need to help me, and he does it, and we end up seeing Nora come in, sucking Iris's energy, Alexa's energy, and also, Psyche. I'm just gonna say that, because it's such a new name, and I just can't, I'm just so used to hearing Psyche, so, and Nora takes Psyche's energy, so I think they're dead. I don't know, I'm assuming, because Barry looked really sad, so I think they're all dead. But of course, we're going to come back to life at the end of this. Probably when he kills Nora, he probably will. He'll lose his powers, but they'll get their powers back. And then maybe I'm thinking when Godspeed and Nora, his kid, Nora and Bart Allen come, somehow he's going to get his powers back that way. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, because there's just no way when Barry, if he does kill Nora, that he gets to keep his powers. There's just no way. I don't think so. I don't think that, there's just no way, because she is the Speed Force. Without her, Barry wouldn't have his powers, clearly. And it's I don't know. And I just don't know where they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to go to that artificial Speed Force thing again. I don't think so, because they kind of clarified that you can't go artificial because you're taking out I guess his will to run something living. You're just taking that away, the emotions. You're taking that away for that's how he was able to channel the Speed Force. So when you take that away, he doesn't want to go artificial anymore. So that's not even an option. So I just don't know where this is going to go. I just don't know. I just hope we don't end this off with him losing his speed again, because I feel like it's just second nature to the writers, and everything is just to take his speed away, and I just don't want that again. Because I feel like there's just no consequences. It's like a normal thing on the show now, is that, oh, we're going to take his speed away at this time, let's take his speed away, and we all end up knowing that he gets it back at some point anyways. So it's why do you keep taking it? So I'm just curious to know what you guys thought about this episode. I mean, it was an okay episode. I'm kind of hoping I feel like they're just going to rush next week's episode, which is the finale of this story. Are you sure? Because I've been hearing that it ends in 11,
It's
Beth.
called Family Matters Part 2.
Yeah, next week is the last episode of the story. I've been hearing that it's ending in 11. And I heard that the Godspeed stuff's going to start in episode 12.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've been hearing. I heard it from, there's a YouTuber that does everything Flash. I watch his videos. I forget his YouTube channel name right now, but he said in one of his videos that this story, the Nora storyline's ending in episode 11, and we're going to start getting into other stuff in 12. So I don't know. I feel like it's rushed. I feel like, and also Psych really teamed up with the team very quickly. I was shocked. Out of all the bad stuff he's done, I am so shocked. Why can't we just have a villain? I talked to my sister. I was like, why can't we just ever have a villain on the show? Just someone that's bad, that needs to be put away. Why does there have to be a moment where, you could just have that, bring that, with the humanity is gone. We saw it with, Savitar. We saw it with Zoom. We saw it with, Thawne. They were bad. And they just couldn't be saved. Why can't we just, have that? I feel like that's just, everything is that they're just trying to save them when they've done so many bad things. It's you don't have to kill them, but at least put them away. It's can we just get some of those, villains where they're just bad? I'm just curious, because I feel like at this point, it's just where we expect them to do a turnaround. They'll just be saved, they'll be fine, and they'll be good at some point. I just want a bad villain again. Because I just want that. It could be, it could be bad, it could be, you know what I mean? You know how, Thanos thought what he was doing was right, but then he just, but yet he was still doing a bad thing? Why can't we just have that and, and person not changing, and he's still gonna go through with the bad plan, and they just won't change?
Heath Ledger Joker.
Or something, why can't we just have someone just being bad? That's mainly what DC characters are anyways, is that half of them are just bad because, and it's we don't really get that, anymore in the show, and I just feel like that kind of just takes the fun away, that we're just getting a hardcore villain. So I don't know, but that was my review, guys. I gotta start watching Superman and Lois. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of this, a part of the family. But without further ado, I'm gonna end this video here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.